You mentioned Matrix earlier. A really big criticism that I have actually, and I see a lot online, is that the home server sees a lot. There is end-to-end encryption if you enable it in Matrix, but there's still a lot of other data there. So, what does a relay see in SimpleX? What kind of metadata protection is built in when someone's messaging on it?
I think I think I think it's wrong to compare Matrix and SimpleX
No,
message
I'm
passing
not.
directly, because
Yeah,
Matrix server provides you a place to host your conversation, and in particular, if your conversation is public, then you don't want to hide content. The problem is that in Matrix design, you have the same server that's used as a transport and as a hosting for the conversation, if you understand what I mean, right? You connect to the server, it delivers your messages, but it also hosts the actual messages, right? And that's the problem, because in this case, I'll get to the question. I'm just trying to explain what's the real problem. The real problem is not that the server in Matrix sees some metadata, but it's the same server that also sees the message content. So it not only sees who sends messages, and it not only says what messages are, it can connect sender identities with messages. And that's where the fundamental problem happens, right? Because if somebody says something problematic, but nobody knows who they are, it's not a problem. And vice versa, right? If somebody sends messages, but nobody knows what they sent, again, it's not much of a problem, right? Something is being sent. But when you can connect identity to content, that's when the personal security gets compromised, right? So with our current messaging relay, they obviously don't see the content, they don't see the conversations, and they, of course, see some metadata. I think protecting metadata is just an oxymoron, frankly, because you cannot protect it if you use metadata, right? You have to use some metadata to deliver messages, and what you want is to minimize the not protect, but to minimize the metadata that you use, right? And minimize the metadata that you can observe and minimize the metadata that you can record. So if you're talking about metadata and communication, we're talking about three different things, right? Metadata you can observe, that's one thing. Metadata that you actually need to transmit messages, right? You need some metadata, and metadata that you record long term. And there can be three different things, right? So if you connect to messaging relay, they obviously can observe your IP addresses inevitably. They don't record this information. We put it in our privacy policy. We don't have any need to record those addresses, so we don't record those addresses, but technically they can observe the IP addresses. They can also observe connection times, right? They know when you connect to the server and they can see when each address connects to the server. Again, they don't use this metadata and they don't record this metadata, but that's an observable metadata. And the same will be true for any kind of network. Tor relays can observe the same, session relays, VPN providers. It's all kind of universal, right? What they can't observe, though, is very important. They cannot observe the message size, because SimpleX network is probably, I think it's the only network that uses fixed packet size of a rather large size in comparison. So we use every single message you send is 16 kilobyte. It's padded to 16 kilobyte. Doesn't matter how large it is. It can be a long text, it can be like image preview that takes 16 kilobytes, or it can be just a thumbs up reaction. What network will observe will be 16 kilobyte traffic, which is purposely wasteful. And obviously you don't need 16 kilobyte traffic to send thumbs up reaction, right? You need several bytes, maybe 100 bytes. But this design prevents correlation by traffic across the network, right? Because if you send messages of variable size, then it becomes very easy to determine who talks to whom simply by seeing how those sizes correlate on different parts of the network, right? And if every single message has the same size, then network observers can't establish who talks to whom. And service can't observe it as well because they don't know their real message size. They only see the fixed block size of 16 kilobytes. They obviously have destination address, but again, destination address is not the user, it's the messaging queue, and the user can have tens of thousands of those message queues, and they wouldn't, the server that sends wouldn't necessarily know how queues correlate to users. So, but the whole idea is like every time you send a message, it goes through two servers, right? And the first server knows your IP address and it knows the destination server, but it wouldn't know the destination address on that server. So they only would say, okay, cumulatively you sent to this other server 100 messages, but they wouldn't know to how many contacts. It can be 100 messages to one contact, or it can be 100 messages to 100 contacts. The first server wouldn't know not which contacts nor how many. And the destination server would see the addresses, destination addresses. It would know which queues to put the messages in, but it wouldn't see which IP address sent them. And they wouldn't know even, like, again, is it, let's say, if messages arrive to 100 addresses, do they arrive from one user or do they arrive from 100 different users? They wouldn't know that. And the protocol is designed in a way that they simply can't share this information with each other. So they don't observe it, because there is an end-to-end encryption tunnel, not just between the users, but between user and the destination server. There's a separate end-to-end encryption, like not end-to-end, but let's say user to destination. It's kind of how onion routing is designed. When you get like that's why it's onion routing, right? When you wrap encryption layers one on top of each other to protect information from intermediary relays. So in a way, SimpleX network functions very similar to how mixed network function. It's just low latency mixed network, and the difference is it's very tailored to the problem of transmitting messages, right? It's very specialized to this particular need rather than being a generic. And it's very different from Tor, because Tor establishes connections, right? So even if you connect via Tor, there will be a persistent circuit built via Tor, and everything you send via the circuit can be attributed to you as a user. When you send your messages to the destination, there is not persistent circuit. There is just packet level, like encryption and security, rather than circuit level, like with Tor.